Welcome back to SuperCoach Masters, guys. I'm Geordie, and we are doing a little segment called SuperCoach Disasters. And why is it every Thursday is a bloody SuperCoach disaster? Well, for me anyway. Hopefully you guys had a bit of luck. So let's have a look at this Bulldogs Lions game. Man, wasn't Bont robbed? Like, he got 125 last week, and his game was so much better than last week. And he got an 89 Supercoach. That's so fucked. That's like saying Alex Keith had a better game than him. That's ridiculous. Look, yeah, I know people are going to say, yeah, he gave away 6 free kicks and he had 13 clangers, but God, wasn't he instrumental in the Doggies win? So a lot of people had vice captain on him. That's real disappointing. That any other day, that's 140, 130 Supercoach. So very disappointing, guys. We'll see who we can chuck the captain on if you did have him. Obviously, the same with Dunks. 108 Supercoach Dunkley. It's not what you want from your captain. He played all right. 82% time on ground, which is a lot better than 69% last time. So better signs from Dunks overall, but that's not going to be a captain option. And I think maybe start fading Dunks for a captain option. It's 3 weeks in a row where it's not captain option material. Now let's talk about Lachie Neale. 117 is not too bad for the guys that kept him. Here's another one that could have scored a bit higher. 88% time on ground, guys. This is really, really good. 14 contested and a goal. He looks pretty good, Lachie. I mean, for some reason he's not reaching those 130s, but he's doing everything right. Like 14 contested possessions, 88% time on ground. You know, he's in the 30s with possessions, 4 tackles this time. So maybe he just didn't get those possessions at the crucial moment of the game when it's up for grabs. So let's continue with Brisbane since we're on them. Ashcroft, just, 80s every day of the week. You're happy with that on field, happy with that. No issues, 23 touches, 78% time on ground. Ashcroft, you'd take that. Wilmot's score was a bit inflated. I think he had about 7 possessions or 6 possessions last quarter. 5 of them were like intercept possessions, and these were all up for grabs. So that's why he got 69 Supercoach, or else he would have got a lot less. 73% time on ground is about thereabouts for those defensive rookies. He got a higher score than McKenna, and I know a lot of people are very reactive and they're going to want to start fielding Wilmot over McKenna, but I'm going to be starting McKenna over Wilmot all the time, guys. I just think it's a lot safer. McKenna 87% time on ground, just 14% extra. Then Wilmot 57 is obviously not what we want with 19 touches, but 500 meters gained, I'll be taking that. So not a disappointing score, but let's persist with him if it's up to Wilmot and McKenna on field, guys. So that about covers all the relevant people in Brisbane. Let's get over to Tim English and Tim English owners, especially the guys that had him vice captain. They're going to be really stoked to kind of see that he got 139. You were captaining that, guys. 31 hitouts, 89% time ground, destroyed Oscar McInerney. He's looking like the pick of the bunch for the ruckman, guys. He's absolutely on fire. If he doesn't get a niggle, he'll be carrying this all the way. So good on the guys that jumped on Tim English, and even better if you captained him. So that's really good. Libber owners, 9 tackles, 29 touches. It's all you can really ask from Libber. That's great, 120. Happy days. Now, McRae's interesting, guys. A lot of people traded McRae and a lot decided to keep the faith. And that's a nice score rewarding McRae owners. But look, if you look at the stats a bit more deeply than what it shows here, he had 8 CBAs, 8 standard bounce attendances, and only 55% midfield time. It's not good enough. I mean, he scored well. He got 30 touches. That's all you can really ask in that kind of role. But I've got a feeling, guys, if he's playing that kind of role, he'll be struggling to get these kind of scores week in, week out. So if you traded him out, don't fret too much. If you still got him, that's a handy score to have. So, yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword there with McRae's 30 touches and 114. I still think it's a relatively good trade out, just based on his role. So especially if you unlocked a couple extra premiums for you guys, don't be sad about that. That's not too shabby. Ed Richards, For guys persisted with him for another week, 111, looked real good. Lots of zip off that half back line. Bailey Dale turned up, first time, 102, 30 touches. I think a lot of Bailey Dale owners would have kept him, but if you did, good on you. Bailey Dale's scores usually fluctuate, usually goes up and down. So nothing really to be expected. Didn't go too huge, 30 touches, 100 only. Now, Oscar Baker, he was really, really good. 18 touches, 17 kicks and a goal. Hopefully you had emergency on guys. And if you got Hopper, just leave Hopper on the field and get that 95 every day of the week. We're happy with that. Bont. Mate, look, for vice captain options, we'll get into those. Captain options, we'll get into those in a bit. But, man, Bont, that's... If he plays that game more often than not, I'm sure he'll get good scores, guys. I think he's got Richmond next week, so... Look, I'm going to roll the dice with him again. I've had the VC on him for the first 3 games now, and it's been a bit disappointing, but I'm going to try again next week, so get into that. Bailey Smith, 19 touches, 102. That's not what you want from me. He was getting close to 100% 90s of time on ground. He can't have gotten less fit, so I don't know why his time on ground is reduced so much, but it is affecting his scoring and possessions. It'd be a trade-out for me. Guys, Hayden Crozier really stunk it up with only 62% time on ground. We won't be grabbing him next week, which makes it a lot easier if Bowles goes off, or Bose, whatever you want to call him. Get off my case. So that's kind of the how it went last night. If you're a liver owner, it's a pretty decent score. He looks like he's getting some really good, midfield time. I'll read out some CBAs for you guys, just so you know which way Bevo's playing all these midfielders and help you make some decisions going forward with all your doggy premium. So number 1 for the game was Liver at 19. Then second highest for Dogs was English. Then Treloar, which Treloar coming back into the side really affected the likes of Bailey Smith and even Bont and McRae. So Treloar was the second highest midfielder for the Dogs. And I think that's a shit call, Bevo, but you won the game. So 15 to Bont and only 8 to McRae, and Bailey Smith got one CBA. He needs to go, guys. That's not a good roll. Lockie Neal, highest for the Lions. He's had a really good CBA roll all year. So Lockie's got a great roll. If I had him, I'd just be keeping on with him. If he likes a bit of cash, so be it. Next up was Dunkley, which is really nice to see. 18 CBAs. Oscar McInerney, Darcy Ford, and... Ashcroft only 6. He's not getting the midfield time that we thought he'd get, but he's still scoring pretty well. So let's get into the trades I've made and captain options. This is my team after Thursday. Very disappointing. I looped 3 players. Didn't talk about Josh Bruce, but may as well. He looked pretty average. He was playing against Danaher. It's hard to take some intercept marks against that absolute beast of a man. But 38, negative 33 break even. Not what I wanted. Need some more 70s from Brucey, especially if we're going to chuck him back as a DPP. So I got Wilmot 69. I looped Oscar Baker and them. So I got 3 loops here and the Bont. Not taking the Bont, obviously. Wilmot 69 is not too bad. You'd consider looping him. Oscar Baker for Hopper every day of the week. Now the trades I've made already, guys. As you can see, I've made a couple of trades there, 2 trades, and I've got out Steele for Warple. I think negative break even, not too bad for a guy's averaging 98. So I've jumped on the Warps. Already had Setterfield, and my other trade, who did I bring in? I brought in Dacos, so just couldn't afford to not have him anymore. And I brought Dakes in for Chesser. I had some inside word from one of the guys message me on Facebook saying that Chesser will be getting a game. Apparently he's mates with him and said that he survived another week. As be that as it may, Chess, I'm not loving your 20, so I got rid of Chesser, especially with Constable's break-evens, negative 53. I just can't get rid of him. So for my last trade, I really want to get the D-Cam in. It's just, look what I'm dealing with here, guys. Forward line's pretty packed. Dunkley, Cornelia, Rosie, Taranto, Gould and Shears. I could run that for almost the whole year. Same with Witts and Marshall. Obviously I'm going to have all these mid prices until they juice up a bit till I pick which midfielders I want. Backline's a bit of a tricky spot. Maybe Bowles comes in next week. But for this week, I really want Decam. And the only way to get him in, guys, look, obviously I could got a bit of cash and go Whopper. Hopper into Jay-Z, Zeeble, but that's just a waste of trade. He's got 2 break even. Oscar Baker's going to come in from him anyway, so won't be doing that. I want to get Decam. Now, how do you get Decam with this team for me? It's got to be Doherty. It's like 162 break even, the highest break even in my team. Obviously, Doherty is a keeper, and if he gets 120, 130 this week, I will not be surprised. I didn't see anything about his role that I didn't like. It's just that I need Decam, and I think Decam can be a keeper at 4.6. So if I do a Doherty to Decam, I've already made about 140k on the trade, and so that's if you say each trade is worth about 140, 150k, that's more than enough. So do that trade, get 140k. I still don't want to do it, by the way, and get 140k. Obviously, Darcy Cameron comes up in price by about 50k or 40k this week. Doherty comes down by 27k, for example, if he gets 100. So already from that trade, you've netted about $210,000, and you pretty much got a keeper for a keeper, but you've made about 140, 160k or whatever it's been, plus the price change. Then that will be able to free up some money to do another upgrade next week, or just to get a couple of those mid prices like the Bowers, or I know Phillips might be on the bubble this week. By Tal, I think he's listed as emergency or on the extended change, one or the other, but Phillips looks a bit better. So that's what I'm planning on doing, guys. Constable will probably go back there if he's playing, and I'll just roll the dice with him. If he's not playing and not a sub, I'll just take Wilmot 69. I mean, I'm not expecting Constable to get more than 69, especially with Powell and Weller back in that Gold Coast team. So hopefully it's just dropped. I'll just play him and get Wilmot, or if he's playing straight on the field, I'll just roll the dice again with Constable, but I'm not expecting a huge amount. Then I'll chuck him up there for DPP. Doherty's here. I'll bring in Cornelio up there, and then I'll get my Decam here, and then I'll put Cornelio on the field for probably Mackenzie. His centre bounce time hasn't been impressing me too much. I can still trade Warple for Jay-Z without using a trade, obviously. I can just update the trade, Warple or Jay-Z. I'm two minds about them. So we'll see, guys. That's what I've got so far. For captain, I'm just going to go Tom Green. I know the temptation of the day cost is so huge, but just halfback flankers with the C on it, I just don't like it. I know he's been killing it, and he'd probably get 130 and prove me wrong, especially after Hardwick came out and said that they're not going to tag him and they know he's going to get touches. I'm not going to put him captain. I'll go Tom Green against the Blues. They don't play too accountable. So that's just the Thursday night, quick Thursday night review for you guys. Let me know how you guys went. What are you thinking about captaining? Obviously, I don't have Clary. If I had Clary, I'd be going with him. Laird doesn't do too well against Adelaide, but you'd consider it. That's what I'm thinking, guys. Tell me if you're thinking about seeing Dacos. It's so risky, but I just feel more comfortable with a guy who's inside the midfield and is going to be getting a full gig there. All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know how you went. And obviously, we done a collab with SuperCoach Eds yesterday. Check that video out, all right? See you guys, and have a good one.